Hello, all, and welcome to Middle Age Geeks. I'm one of your hosts, Phil, joined as always by my co-host Daz. Daz, what's the crack, man?
Not much, man. Yeah, it's been a good day. Spending one of the hottest days of the year sitting inside a cinema, watching race cars go around. Woohoo! How about yourself? How are you doing?
Yeah, I had a busy day, but I did make time to get down to the park with the dog and to take in some of that. Yeah, I know we have listeners in America who are like fucking fuck off with your 26-degree heat, but 26 degrees in Ireland is a lot. So yeah, it was gorgeous to be out in that sun, and yeah, and poor little dog is bollocksed. Okay, so for those of you who are new, we're mainly a movie review podcast or a movie discussion podcast, really. This week's one being F1, the movie. But before that, we'll be getting into some news and then what we've been kind of playing and watching for the last week. So, yeah, Daz, why don't we kick off with news? Has there anything jumped out at you this week?
Some of the box office things from the past week, like Elio that I watched last week. That was Pixar, and you think they're after Inside Out 2 making 1.7 billion like last year. You're like, Pixar's back. And Elio has completely flopped the box office, making like 40 million in the US, 72 globally, off a reported 150 million budget. Like, God help being a fucking studio in this day and age. I just don't know what the fuck is going to hit and what's going to miss. But that's underperforming incredibly for something that reviews very well. And
yeah,
kid-friendly movie. And then, and on the back of that, then 28 years later, has done the opposite. It's made over like 100 million globally already off 60 million. That's fucking great for the franchise. And if check out our review last week, still quite polarizing across the fan base, zombie fans and non-zombie fans alike.
Yeah, and I saw someone put so it was an Instagram post of someone saying about the ending being quite polarizing, and on their picture they had down the bottom of it, they just had a line of Power Rangers. It was like, there you go. That's just exactly what that was saying. It's fucking spot on.
Some people got in touch actually feedback wise and said, some of them really liked it, but there's a similar vibe that they're just taken aback completely. Like the tonal shift is just like, whoa. And some people jumped into that and just, went with it and kind of went, oh, fucking cool. Can't wait to see the next one. And then other people, were similar to ourselves that just kind of, it is kind of a, it's an alarming tonal shift, but for me, it just, and I think yourself, it just doesn't work for us. It's a bit kind of too off kilter.
No, but like I definitely wouldn't deny it. Like if it is your cup of tea, great. There's plenty of things like that where I love when something has taken a turn, like a complete left field turn, and the next person over is like, no, fucking ruined it for me. So each their own.
And then I guess, final bit of news then is Fantastic Four. I don't know if it's the final trailer, but it's, I think, the third trailer released a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And three trailers in now, and I'm getting a bit cold on this movie at the moment. Like, this doesn't really offer anything new in the trailer. They're really doubling down on it's clobbering time joke that like the thing won't say it, and you're kind of going, is that part of the movie? Is that the joke in the movie that eventually he says it in an action scene? It didn't quite. It still looks great, but it's not that it's kind of meh. But it's where, in contrast to Superman marketing ramped up considerably and releasing more and more, and people are getting really fucking hyped, and the buzz is all over the place, and it just doesn't seem to be the case for Fantastic Four. I don't know if it's just even story wise. I think we get an idea that from what we've seen, and even in the post credits in Thunderbolts, I kind of get an idea that like they're maybe not successful in staving off the attack of Galactus in their world, and maybe they flee into our world, something like that. But all we've seen is like one or two shots of Silver Surfer and the shadow and foot of Galactus, and I hope they're holding a lot back that we're going to see, because you get little glimpses of the car, taking off and flying through the city, and that kind of stuff is. I just kind of want more of that. I don't know. It just felt a bit flat to me. Like,
weird. Like I suppose similar to yourself. I'm excited for it because I love the aesthetic of it. I love the Fantastic Four in general, and I love Galactus as well. As I said, right above my screen here, I have a frame picture of Galactus and Silver Surfer. So I'm dying for it. But I feel like information is being kept back a little bit, maybe about it. There's nothing really new that gets added to these trailers. Well, we'll see. Look, it's a couple of weeks away now, and isn't it the what date is it? The 17th or something? 17th or 18th? It's out, or is it the end of the month? 25th.
It's 2 weeks after, so is it 20th?
Oh, is it okay? 25th or so? Yeah, or 20, whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, we won't have long to wait anyway. So
yeah. How about yourself? Any news-wise?
Okay. Yeah, I suppose some good news, some rumors, and and horrible news. Well, the horrible news is something I mentioned to you, and that's that Michael Bay is making another Transformers movie. He's back, baby, for more Bayhem. I'm not going to go and see it. I didn't see the last few, I think, Transformers movies. I think after Transformers 1, the animated one, that's the way to go. I don't see him making anything anywhere near as good as that.
No.
That's what we get. Well.
That's what we get. That's what, like, anyone who didn't go and see Transformers 1 in the cinema, this is all your fucking fault.
Well, and the thing is, people that'll make money. The Michael Bay one will make a bunch of money.
$1 billion.
Yeah, and that's what we get. Whereas Transformers 1 was a fantastic movie that didn't do very well.
But everyone you'll talk to is saying, "Oh, fucking Michael Bay Transformers, load of bollocks." No one says they're going to see it. No one sees it. It's like everyone going, "Oh, no one goes to McDonald's yet they sell 20 billion burgers a day." Just like, well, somebody's lying here, you know. Same with Transformers, make it like 1.5 billion. Like, everyone's going to fucking see the thing. It's just, oh god, that's horrible news.
Yeah, that's our. There is a rumor. The rumor about, because obviously we mentioned Denis Villeneuve being the next Bond director.
Oh yeah.
Is that there's again just a rumor that Tom Holland is one of the front runners. And so like a big change from the way, if they did go that way, a big change from what they've gone, which is generally, I want to say older, but definitely established. And yeah, I suppose a little bit older. Tom Holland's in his mid-20s. So like that'd be fantastic. I think he'd be a great Bond, and maybe just a kind of, you know, a rusty rookie kind of agent kind of thing. Maybe you could get a proper full franchise. Sorry, not franchise, but a series of movies with him, growing with him as he learns more and more. I think that'd be cool. But we'll see if that actually happens. And then the last bit is that Jake Gyllenhaal is starring in the next M. Night Shyamalan movie. I think it's called Remain or something like that. Okay. But yeah, so he signed on for that. There's not really any details of it yet. But
The Trap 2.
Yeah, I mean, the only good thing is that they're not giving him a shit ton of money. He's kind of just making them in small enough budget, and it's a pity because when Split came out and it was so good, it's like, oh man, we are back. He's back, and then we get Glass, which was pretty bad, and then Old, which was bad, and then Knock at the Cabin, which was bad. I don't know. I mean, I'll watch all of his movies just because I like the way they're shot, and I admire him for swinging for some of these twists. Even though you may not hit the mark, especially not with Knock at the Cabin, when you can probably look at the poster and know what it's about. Like, but
he's interesting as a director. Like, even after watching Trap, I'd go see another 20 of them because they're just fucking hilarious. They're the comedies you don't know you need. Just how bonkers they are. But yeah, he's great because he takes a 2-minute short story concept and goes, right, I need to find another 86 minutes somewhere. It's like, all right, what's he going to do now?
Yeah, he's fun.
He's great.
Yeah, but that's all with regards to news on my end. So what did we get on to then? What we've been playing and watching this week? Does anything new on your end?
Well, I was still getting stuck into The Alters on Xbox and didn't even realize that Death Stranding 2 was coming out on PlayStation. Hideo Kojima's follow-up to 2019's Death Stranding, which is one of the most hardest games to describe. It's basically kind of like a walking simulator, but in a crazy futuristic alternate weird world where creatures come back from in beyond fucking limbo of life and death, and there's fucking weird babies that grow inside you and all your memories inside. Like, I cannot do it like just that alone, that just my brain is fucking aching trying to describe it. But anyway, that game back then was so polarizing. You know, it was getting 6s and 7s and stuff, and it's one of those, we had chatted about this before, that like if the gameplay loop gets you, you're essentially a porter and delivering goods to just various locations around fucking America to try and sync them up to the new World Wide Web or whatever. And a lot of people are going, oh, that's shit and that's boring and fuck that. But if you get into it, and there's action set pieces and all that kind of shit, but if the gameplay loop gets you, it's fucking fantastic. And I loved that game. And this one is just all of that, but more. It's better. The graphics are, like, the intro to it is astonishing. Some of the shots you're thinking, that's photoreal. Like, it's a Mexican desert and you're up in mountains walking across and you're like, oh my God, this is actually gameplay. But everything's better. Quality of life things are better. The graphics, stories, a little bit more coherent, but it's so batshit crazy. Like, this guy, Hideo Kojima, is a madman. Like, he's absolutely bonkers. And the first game, I hadn't a fucking clue what was going on for the last 3 hours, and I hated it, but I loved the rest of the game. And this is kind of more the same. It's kind of like, yeah, it's a lot of fun, really good gameplay, but the story is, you're just kind of going, what are you fucking talking about? But it stars Norman Reedus. He's just fucking great crack. But yeah, that's been my jam for the past few days. It's kept me up till 3 or 4 a.m. on a few nights. And because of that, I've watched absolutely fucking nothing. How about yourself? Did you play the first Death Stranding, by the way?
I gave it a few hours and it just wasn't for me. Like, I get it. I know. I tried. I really did. And it wasn't even the story. It was the gameplay. It was, walking across, keeping your balance and all this malarkey. And it just wasn't for me. I like weird shit. I loved his Metal Gear Solid games. I'm all for it. I just couldn't get into it. I did hear that this one is a little bit more accessible for people who maybe found the first one a bit maybe boring, or whatever they're saying. This one,
like, there's more combat. You get, like, some people saying this is the best Metal Gear game that he's made that's not called Metal Gear, because the combat's really great, and the stealth kind of shit, and you can, like, you're literally sneaking up behind people to infiltrate bases, and you're knocking them out by tying strands around them, which strands are things that exist in between worlds and stuff. It just goes fucking bananas. But some of the combat is cool, and you get vehicles and weapons, and it's a lot more accessible than the first game. Was kind of like 85% just walking around, keeping your balance, walking over rocks and stuff, which even as I say, it sounds like the most boring fucking shit, but it's just calming and riveting. It's like a walking simulator made by someone on acid. It's just phenomenal.
That's a good description.
This one is, if it goes down in price, you could actually play the second one because even if, like, I played the first one twice and I still don't really know what's going on, so it doesn't matter. Like,
oh yeah, I think I'd probably just watch some sort of YouTube explanation and just go straight into the second one.
I watched one of those explainers before this game, and it just confused me even more. It's like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Brilliant.
On my end, though, I didn't watch anything new, and I've just been kind of playing more Mario Kart. I've been playing it online, which is great. Like, it's because I think most people, I suppose, fancy themselves as decent Mario Kart players because the controls are so basic. It's
you're better than your friends.
Game.
Yeah.
And you're better than your mates. Just do, I must be decent enough. So it's fucking class. You're playing these races with people online, and everybody's so good, and everybody's some people have faster cars than others, but for the most part, you've got similar skill levels, and so, like, the person who crosses the line first might only cross the line 2 seconds before the person who crossed the line 16th. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's a huge gap, and especially when you're trying to do the knockout where it's the first 20 get through, and the first 16, the first 12, the first 8. Like, you could be fucking bombing along it in first, get hit by one shell, and bam, you're back to fucking 21st or something. Like, it's just really, you got to watch every turn, use every trick you can, watch your items, hold them on to blow up the blue shell if it comes near you, or just it's really, really good. It's great fun. I haven't done the chat, like, with the camera and stuff on. I'll wait until next year when you get your Switch.
Update on that, actually. Fuck you. I finally got my refund after emailing them a few times. It's just like, what did I say, 5 to 10 days? And it was like 23 days later or something, I got my got my refund back, and I was like, sweet. I checked online. It's just like, we won't have them till mid-July. Like, fuck you. It's very annoying.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what I've been playing. That and I went back in to do some of the little odd jobs on Tears of the Kingdom as well. But I'm going to start Breath of the Wild from the start, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get stuck into that. But yeah, that's it new on my end. Okay, well, look, with that out of the way, why don't we get on to the main event, which is our discussion through F1 the movie. And Daz is going to take us through that. So, Daz, whenever you're ready, kick it off.
Super duper, yeah. F1 the movie, directed by Joseph Kosinski, starring Brad Pitt, Javier Bardem, Damson Idris, fucking badass name, and Kerry Condon. Script by Erin Kruger, and we'll get into that. This movie is 2 hours and 35 minutes, which raced by, and that was one of my first notes. Oh yeah. Brad Pitt stars as Sonny Hayes, a former F1 driver who now races in Daytona and other race circuits. And he comes back to F1 to help an old colleague, Javier Bardem, who's in danger of losing his team, and they need to rake up at least one win for whatever reason. And Pitt clashes with his younger teammate, Idris, who was a hotshot racer. Will the old-timer be able to teach this new kid how to race, and will he save the day? And spoiler, you fucking betcha. So yeah, before we get into the nitty gritty, we'll go through our initial views and chat through as best we can without any spoilers. And not really any spoilers in this if you've seen a fucking sports movie or anything where an old time. If you've seen Top Gun, just replace planes with cars. So yeah, what did you think coming out of this?
Well, see, I don't like F1. I know there's some of our listeners really do. I know I've been my good friends of mine, Jenny and John, and ours are addicted to it, love it. I never saw the appeal, so I was half hoping you'd say yes when I suggested Megan 2.0 this week. So I was pleasantly surprised. I absolutely love this. I thought it was great. I do have some beefs, of course. But yeah, like this is I don't see why they bother making Days of Thunder 2. Because 100%. This is it. Like I really, really enjoyed it. I think I loved Hans Zimmer's score when it was in. I think maybe he could have done with more of that and less of the kind of soundtrack tunes, and maybe more the score, because some of the parts where that kicks in, especially that part where he's doing the kind of flying part, he's just everything is silent and stuff. That's going to be one of those tracks that I fucking have to see Hans Zimmer play live. It's just awesome. But no, I enjoyed it. Like, it's funny, it's cheesy in the right ways. As you said, Daz, if you've seen a sports movie, a sports redemption kind of thing, you've seen this, and yeah, man, I'm here for it. I was really, really pleasantly surprised. When I saw 2.5 hours and about Formula One, it's like, I am not going to like this movie, but I'm delighted to be proven wrong. What about yourself? Yeah,
echo that entirely. I actually checked the runtime afterwards. I was like, how long was that movie? And I was surprised it was 2 hours 35. I mean, there are bits in the story where you kind of go, it does slightly drag a little bit when you're kind of going, okay, you could shave 10, 15 minutes there. But yeah, like I thought it was fucking great, and I was pleasantly surprised as well. Like I would have been I don't know if I could say a fan of F1, but back like in late 90s with Schumacher and Damon Hill and stuff like that, it was just, that's what you do. You just stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning and catch a fucking race just because it's something to watch. But I do know, like, a lot of friends who aren't into F1 at all, that I think it's that Netflix show Drive to Survive or something, that is all about the behind the scenes and how things work and all about the teams, kind of like this movie where you get an insight into it. And they fucking hate F1, but they have watched all 5 seasons of that show because they said it's just riveting how much of a team thing it is, and that really comes across. Oh yeah,
when I say 100%. And when I say, like, I'm not a fan of F1, it's the actual sitting there watching it. I don't get it. I find everything around it, like the engineering that goes into this thing to shave off at fucking milliseconds, and everything, the team, the fucking money that goes into it, the pressure that these drivers are under, like the bodily pressure, it's to be able to do it, to have that skill and those reflexes. I find all of that, everything around it is incredible. But when you're sitting there watching it on telly, you're a little bit taken out of that, because all you're doing is watching the car zip around the track. And it's like, Yeah, I'd be more. I'm more of a, fucking destruction derby kind of thing. Like, yes, carnage. But yeah, like it is. Though it is fascinating, and the amount of money involved in that sport is insane.
They're so calm when cars are written off. We're just like, it's 150 million fucking quid. Like, it's to billionaires and all that. But no, it's true. Like it's not that riveting. It's still not that riveting to me to watch. Even like it got a little better to watch, I guess, when they started to implement, kind of GoPros on the cars or whatever. When they started adding those cameras and stuff, it got a little more interesting because you could see a crash happening from the driver's point of view, and that's where this movie really kind of excels. Where in Top Gun, where the whole thing of like, oh, we're putting the cameras in the jets and on the wings and stuff, and you're going, oh, that's fantastic, and I love the way movies are able to do that, and that's great in a jet plane. But when you put that in and around these cars and film it the way they film it, and we'll get into it a little bit, it's fucking unbelievable. It's like, I'm pretty sure I was gripping the seat at one point, just going, holy fucking Christ. But in terms of setting the scene and of setting up F1, they do a great job in this of, they're not dumbing it down to people who don't know anything. They're giving you just enough information. If you pay attention, you're on board with the strategies and the tactics and what's happening in the races and penalties and what's at stake in each kind of race. And
I don't think I agree with they give you just enough. I think they walk you through. You could go in here, be visually impaired, and still know exactly what's going on. Like, they walk you through the movie at all times. Somebody was telling me exactly what was going on, whether it was the voiceover guy, yeah, the voiceover guy. Like, that's what I wanted to ask. Because I don't watch F1, I was like, is there a dude, like, if you're watching F1 and you're there, because it sounds like he's coming over speakers in the place. Like, if you're watching F1 in the crowd, is there this dude explaining everything as it happens? He's there throughout the whole movie. Oh, and so it's just gone into, and I think every single thing is getting explained. And then when he's not explaining it, Kerry Condon and the team are explaining it instead. So somebody's telling me what's going on at all times. If I was fucking sitting there, just head back in the chair, and I think I could just picture it perfectly going on. So I don't know if they only just give you little tidbits. I think it's all laid out. Like,
okay, maybe they're catering for everyone. They're even catering for people who are asleep and stuff like that. But it did enough where you're like, oh. Yeah, you know what's fucking going on. I knew what was going on anyway.
It wasn't to the point where I was like, "Oh, shut up! I can see what's going on." I didn't. Yeah. It's not that. It was on the brink of that.
It was on the brink of that.
Yeah, but like it was fun. We have talked about other movies which are doing that, where you can, I think, maybe even Gran Turismo and stuff, where you can say, "Okay, don't worry if you know nothing about it, because they're going to tell you everything involved." It was more. It was actually, I didn't mind it. It was actually funny because I was like, "Where is this dude's voice coming from? Are we going to see him?"
See the voiceover guy.
I tell you what I did love. I don't know. I have to try and find them. Brad Pitt sunglasses are fucking awesome. Those red aviators. Yeah. Oh, they're fucking cool, man. He always gets the best. Some of the best dress, the best fucking clothes. Remember that red jacket he had in Fight Club? Yeah. He always gets.
Guaranteed they're all his fucking clothes. They have to be. He just looks so fucking cool all the time.
Yeah.
And and speaking of Brad Pitt, let's get into the cast. This guy, like, he's just a movie star. It's like he just looking at the screen. I was watching it in IMAX, and his head was the size of a fucking 2-story building. You're just going, what a fucking glorious man. It's just 62, and they joke that he's 80, but they never actually give his age. But he's playing like late 40s, early 50s. He just looks. It's amazing that he's in his 60s. It's just defies fucking belief. But he's just doing what he does best. He's just oozing charisma. I don't think he needs to do too much. There's a couple of scenes where he's trying to give a bit of context to his backstory and stuff, but every other time he's kind of a dick. But it's just like, it was Brad Pitt. All right, Sonny Hayes. He's kind of going. He's not like he's defying orders and disobeying everybody, but you're just going. He's just so dreamy. It's fucking brilliant. His charisma is just flying off the screen. I thought he was excellent. His interplay with Javier Bardem.
I loved that. I thought their relationship was great. Yeah.
Would have loved to see more flashbacks to the two of them together or something. But Kerry Condon is amazing, and I just love the way she never tries to put on an accent. It's just I think
full Tipperary accent.
Yeah, she's fucking brilliant. She's great. But
and you see, like, what would you, without looking it up, what would you say? What would you think is the age gap between the two of them?
Shit, well, he's 61, 62 or something. I think he's 62 this year, and she has got to be like, say, 30 years between them.
No, she's a little. She's a year younger than me.
Okay.
So she's 42.
20 years.
So 20 years. Like, but still, like, I mean, when you look at the two of them on screen, he looks 10 years younger than he is. Fucking handsome bastard. But yeah, I loved their chemistry. I thought she was fantastic. I love seeing her and stuff. She's just brilliant. And I do like when their actors are allowed just to, just keep your fucking accent. The accent's great. And it's, she's brilliant. She's fucking strong and powerful and just, authoritative and stuff like that. It's really, it's a really impressive performance. I love the relationship, as you said, Dad, between Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt. You'd honestly feel that they were mates off screen or something, because the chemistry between the two of them is fantastic.
Damson Idris.
I thought he was great, man. I thought
he's great. He's, like, some of the dialogue that he's kind of landed with, I think he's struggled. Well, not that he struggles, but it's just, you're kind of going, that's just a naff line, or it's a bit, overly cheesy.
I'd say the lines towards the end definitely feel very forced, because they're not really with the character that it's been throughout the movie. Is kind of like super cliched, and I get what you're saying about that, but I enjoyed his performance. I thought he played it off quite well. The only one I wasn't entirely sure on was the girl who played the Pitt girl, the one who was changing the tires. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I just wasn't sure, because they didn't give her much of an arc. Like, I thought, is she going to end up being, hooking up with one of them, or are we going to find out something about her? Because we see her from the very start, her name is mentioned over and over again. But she doesn't really get much of an arc, though.
It's weird. Like, her arc is, I guess, begins like 20 minutes into the movie, and her arc finishes after 27 minutes in the movie. Her arc is about 7 minutes long. She fucks up in the pit lane and causes him to lose a few seconds or whatever, and it's like, oh shit. And that's you kind of going, the pressure of the team. And I love that. It was just like, they're going to dive into that. They're going to expand that a little bit. Especially when thinking 2 hours and 35 minutes, you're thinking there's going to be a few other kind of strands story-wise within the team. But the very next race, she does a very quick pit change of the tires, and that's her arc. And it's like, okay, yeah. And it's
then she has that one, and she's out running with him and the lead thing, as if she's going to kind of, the main cast. She has another yoke, like towards the end, where she has some line about it, about when she's changing it. And it's just she has these little parts in it, but just didn't understand. I really thought they were going to do something with her. Maybe something was written and they changed it. It just seemed really weird, because I thought she was going to feature prominently, and they put her here and there,
and then she just
little bits,
just away into the background.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the point of that character was if you weren't going to do anything with her. But yeah, I thought everybody was real. I wasn't sitting there thinking anybody really put in a meh performance. I enjoyed it. It was cool to see. I don't know the actor's name. She's the psychiatrist in Ted Lasso. She plays your man's mom in this.
Oh yeah, she's great. She's a couple of nice scenes. Couple of nice scenes. One great scene with Brad Pitt, like where she just kind of shuts him down. It's just like, that's kind of it's nice, powerful mom character. You always love a bit of that. But like the fact that the cast are all just firing on all cylinders.
Oh, will you stop with the puns? For fuck's sake. Have you got a list of these written down?
I got fucking loads of these bad boys. That one was accidental. But like, getting into the script, like all the actors are flying, and the action scenes and the racing scenes are so great. Both of those do make up for the script, which is easily. It's hard to say it's easily the worst part of the movie, but it's not a bad script. It is written by the guy who wrote Terminator Age of Extinction and Dumbo movie or something like that. And you're like going, okay, yeah. He's got a writing credit on Top Gun Maverick, but that was part of a team. But this is, it's not just cliched. I think it has every cliche.
Yeah.
It's got all of them. It's just like, kind of fit in some more. Let's do this with the ending and blah blah blah. And
I think cliche the movie probably would have been fine. I just on that before we go to that, I just call it F1.
What's that all about? F1 the movie. I didn't even see that. Like in the title, it just comes up.
No, in
F1.
certain parts it's not, but it came up on the card, on the what's called the age certificate card, all that shit that comes up at the start. It came up F1 the movie.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. Maybe it's F1 in some territories or something like that, but I just don't. Just like why? It's just weird. Like F1 just sounds so much cooler. Just bam, F1. Exactly. Everybody knows exactly what it is.
100%. But it's just movie's riddled with cliches, and it's not a bad script. It's just it's kind of like lazy and utterly predictable. But I guess it's not the kind of movie where people are going to be absolutely looking for a riveting screenplay. People are there for the stars and for the racing essentially. And when it gets to that, but like there are some kind of cringe moments, like we'll get into the end, which is just characters just do things that are just movie like, and it's just like it doesn't make sense that they kind of talk like this or do these things. And it's a cringe moment as well where people in the driver fucking meeting whatever start clapping and chanting combat, and you're just like, oh god. Like, that was awful. But the script is the worst part of the movie, and that
it's a super like formulaic cliche 80s 90s sports movie, but it works perfectly because that's exactly what they're going for. Where someone's aiming for something contemporary or something, a moody take on the F1 scene or something like that, or a very dramatic thing, and it came off as cliche. Like, okay, they weren't going for that. It's very obviously they knew what they were doing. Like this is got it because it ticks every cliche in the book, as you said.
Like without the kind of racing sequences in this and without actors of this caliber, then I don't think the movie quite works, because the script is not enough. But the script, when you put all these things together, the script is perfectly serviceable to what we're getting. And like, I don't know if you saw this in IMAX, but I saw, IMAX front row. And like, I just think it was absolutely jaw dropping at times. There were moments where I was just like literally saying out loud to myself, oh, gee, holy shit. You know what I mean? Because we always love, like, IMAX is always, the big screens. But for me, IMAX is always, it's the fucking sound. Like, the screen is brilliant. And this is filmed for IMAX. So you're getting the whole fucking aspect ratio, 1.9 or whatever the one. It's astonishing, but the fucking seats were rumbling. When you see a Chris Nolan movie and Interstellar or something, and just seats start fucking rumbling. You just, holy shit. And I was absolutely gobsmacked by some of the cinematography in this. And again, it's not just like, oh, we put the cameras in the cars. And Kaczynski from Top Gun Maverick, they've done that, and it's amazing that they fit IMAX cameras into a cockpit and fly around. That's brilliant. But there's moments in this, there's some drone shots that are wild. Like there's an intro drone shot that starts off super wide, tracks a car and just moves up straight to the fucking side of the car, and you can see the person inside the car. Astonishing. But there's one thing that they do in this where there's an IMAX camera. They're big fucking cameras, like they're the size of a fucking check-in baggage, like. And it's facing forward in the middle of a crazy race, and it just fucking tilts around to show the driver, and then tilts back around in the middle of this carnage. I was just absolutely fucking blown away. Like this, I loved Top Gun Maverick and all that madness, but this shot all over that. Like, planes are great and cool, but fucking putting these cameras down on the ground, right beside the cars, in the middle of F1, the sense of speed, it just fucking blew me away.
And that's it. Like, and it's amazing because you see a lot of these, even with the team, even with the backing team, you would see a lot of this stuff shot with green screen, or they're empty and they'll just do it backwards. Like, they shot this where they actually had, like during races, where they actually had a booth that was made up specifically for the actors in between two real teams. So we're filming stuff that was going on when actual film races. So it just looks so natural as well.
They filmed over the course of the 2023 season or something.
Yeah. So it looks so natural. A lot of these things, and you know what else was, obviously, look, we'll stay in the cinematography for a minute, which is, I absolutely loved it, especially the rain scene, rain driving, absolutely out of this world. And I love that the fact that they actually filmed it there, and it looks so natural. You see a lot of these movies where it's a sports movie, especially, and they're going to put in real people, playing themselves, that kind of thing. And these people aren't actors. It's like fucking watching, Happy Gilmore, and you get to meet one of the golfers. He's obviously not an actor. You've got him in they don't fucking fit. Now, Happy Gilmore is a bad choice of a sports movie, but you know what I mean when you put these real people you're thrown in, and they don't, they're real people, they're not actors. You just put them in because, oh, look, a pop culture reference, a real life reference. Fuck off. But this, they're also subtle. Like I know some of these racers, and I know some, like a little bit, a few of the coaches only from having it on the background. But it's so apart from towards the end, there's one kind of longer chat with the younger driver. Yeah. For the most part, they keep it just brief, and they keep it so natural that you're not just, oh God.
There's a passing glimpse of somebody or a name of something. Oh, Verstappen coming up on the left, and you're kind of going, oh, cool, this is existing in a real world.
Exactly. And when you add that into something like that, obviously just a small thing, but when you add that in, and the fact that they shot in location, and when you add that into this insane cinematography, it just feels so natural. Like you're sitting there going, this feels like the whole thing was shot just for this movie rather than them, just shooting it over an F1 season. It just, it fits absolutely perfectly. And it made it super exciting as well. Like as I said, I'm not into F1 at all, but this made it fucking exciting. I was, edge of your seat stuff as well. Kind of like it's the camera work in it is absolutely mind blowing. I know we talk about this a lot. It's just the technical ability of some of these people is just out of this world. This is one of the ones where I will be making sure I get to see the extras on it, so I can get behind the scenes. Because I'm dying to see it.
I'd love it, like a 2-hour doc on this.
A making of, scenes.
Yeah. I'd fucking watch every single moment, and it's mad, like because. Like we talk about like spectacle in movies and stuff, and the fact that like I haven't been sucked into. I don't want to call them action set pieces, but they're like just racing sequences. But there's a lot of them. It's like every 10 fucking minutes or so, you get another, maybe a brief racing sequence, but a few clips, and some of them are a bit longer when the stakes are a bit grander. But like I haven't been that sucked into a movie sequence in fucking yonks. Like I was thinking about it that. Is it just a state of, are we just desensitized to spectacle where even like Mission Impossible, where I was a little, not cold, but I was like, oh, it's mad that he's on the plane, in the final reckoning. But I wasn't like, wow, fucking hell, that's amazing. I was just, just maybe desensitized to it. Like, remember back in the day when you saw Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and first time you saw like 100,000 people digitizing in a fucking army, and you're like, holy shit. And then 4 years later, you're watching Troy with Brad Pitt, and they're doing it again. You're like, fucking, whatever. Like, they start doing it in ads and stuff, and it's just, that spectacle and wonder was diluted. And I always wondered, like, is that that's just the way cinema goes? But this reaffirmed my belief in that holy fucking shit wow moment, like, and especially for something that I wasn't like going, oh, fucking like imagine people who are mental about F1. Like they're just creaming their pants watching that, just going, Jesus Christ! Like it's unbelievable. I just thought it was. I couldn't get over how taken aback I was by the technical mastery on show. Just and getting into editing, the editing is masterful. It's just. It's there's so many, like, it's quick cuts. It's going from epic shot to drone shot to fucking this, and it's just like the editor must have had a ridiculous amount of coverage of these sequences from every fucking single angle. You could edit this for the next 5 years and you'd still be tweaking it. But it's how they punctuate the gravity of each race. Like the quick cuts don't hamper it. They don't mess with with the geography, what's going on or where people are or something. It's so tight. Like it's so tight, and those sequences hit hard for a multitude of reasons. But especially cinematography.
Would you agree then that it's budget well spent, because this was a hefty budget for this one?
Yeah,
it was like
absolutely.
Something like just between 200 and 300 million, I think it was.
Yeah, approximately 2 or 220 is at least. Absolutely, like and people always saying, with Apple, they seem to make no money from anything they do TV wise or movie wise, and they don't seem to care. But yeah, budget well spent, because it's up there on screen, and like how many times have we watched stuff that's been even like 120 million or 150 million or something, or Thunderbolts, and we're just going, that's lovely movie, but is that money up on screen? I don't fucking think so. Or this, it's just cinema. You know what I mean? It's just epic in every sense of the word. The sound design is just amazing. Like the rumbling of the seats, just the revving of these fucking engines of these cars is just, that's just fucking I love it. IMAX all fucking day long.
I think, as I said at the start, and when I mentioned the score, like, I think that obviously the sound design is incredible, but the score, I think, I just wished there was more of the Hans Zimmer stuff, like, because we're getting so much. And look, don't get me wrong, a lot of these songs I never would normally listen to. Like, there's like the likes of fucking Tate McRae and Ed Sheeran and stuff like that, and I wouldn't genuinely, I wouldn't really listen to them. Now, so there is some fucking, obviously some older ones like fucking We Will Rock You and All of the Love and whatever.
Fleetwood Mac and all that, it's good.
Yeah, but it's so heavy with it's so heavy with a lot of fucking pop music and stuff in scenes where I'm like, what I could have done with a fucking heart pounding Hans Zimmer score or a song here, whereas
especially for the montages, especially one or two of the montages, you're like going, they're chucking in a track here. Doesn't like it's an all right track, but you're going, it doesn't really sit with this point in the movie. It's just like to tick a box by putting some artist in, where you're going, just let Hans Zimmer go mad for fucking 2 minutes there.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering how many are
they all on Apple Music?
I assume so, but this is Apple's biggest or first big hit, isn't it? Is it like with regards to
absolutely? It's the first one that's really like, because if they've had hits and misses, more so kind of hits with TV stuff, but this is the first one that's really like got serious traction online and in cinemas and filmed for IMAX, featuring F1 cars from the director of fucking Top Gun Maverick. You're just going, yes, please. And it's great to see it's kind of tracking to do pretty well, which is fucking amazing.
I think by today it did about 144 worldwide.
Yeah,
which considering an opening weekend on a budget of 200, it should definitely make its money. So I don't know if we'll get F1 the movie part 2, or if they'll just leave it at that.
F2.
Nobody watches the Formula 2. Forget that. I suppose negatives I would probably maybe talk about a little bit more in the spoilered section, but I think that's one of the negatives for me, was that there wasn't enough of an actual score and more of a soundtrack. And then, we've mentioned the cheesiness, and that I think that at the end is a little incongruent with the character that we've seen. And this happens, that it is a massive cliche, and we see a lot with these movies. All of a sudden, the fucking guy who was a dickhead for the whole way through all of a sudden has this massive change. Like, hang on a fucking second. That stuff, I think when you add all those little bits up, it's kind of annoying. The kind of the bad guy that's in it. Like, I spotted him the minute he was introduced. I went, bad guy. Like, the second he got introduced, 100%, that's him. But for the most part, I don't have too many negatives. Like, the runtime, I think, is warranted because of what you're trying to cover. Like, we need trying to get into his backstory and all that stuff, and to go out the whole, as you said, the entire F1 season.
And because it's only we come into it with 9 races to go, so you need enough time to kind of show each of those races and not have a montage of race 4, 5, 6, and 7. They actually go through kind of all the races, and you get, some kind of story beats and a bit of fleshing out of the story in between those races, which is great. There's moments, with the we'll get into it with the bad guy, that I thought you're just kind of going, okay, that this is exactly something that this is kind of cartoonish.
Oh, and it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't. You don't need it. The stakes. If they don't get first place in any of these races, Javier Bardem loses his team, essentially his franchise or whatever. The board are going to fucking chuck him out, and they just it's over. And that's enough. And you're going, all right, they have to win the race, and they've got no points, and they've come last in every race, and you're kind of going, okay, that is actually, you've got 9 races to do that. That's enough. The stakes are pretty big there. You're going, how are they going to do that? And how they go about doing that is very clever. Because it's not just like, he comes in and he wins the race. His first race, he just crashes out after three laps or something. You're going, oh, cool. All right. There is a bit of mystery there.
Can I ask on that? And this isn't a spoiler, because it's meant, we know, if you've seen the trailer, we know Javier Bardem is old friends with Brad Pitt and Sonny Hayes, and he goes and finds them and asks them to come to the team. That's what the whole trailer is based on. Mm-hmm. How did he find him in that laundromat? Like, he hasn't seen him in years. And Brad Pitt's in this laundromat. And Javier Bardem pulls up in this absolute beautiful car.
Banging Porsche.
Steps out in this fucking, gorgeous, fucking expensive Gucci suit. And then walks in and they have a conversation. Like, How did you know he was going to be in this random laundromat in Florida when you're supposed to be in London right now for Silverstone? It just
Have you been stalking him? And I'm just surprised he didn't walk in and Brad Pitt's in his fucking tidy whities or something, like a fucking Levi's hat or something. Just like, why is it in a laundromat? Like, it's to show that, fucking Brad Pitt is doing really well and all this and winning fucking Daytona races, but he's still living out of a van. And he's still broke and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, but that's a great lead into a question. Like, how did he find him in a laundromat? It's so true, though. It's just like, it's a happenstance. And this movie is mad. Yeah. The main thing, I guess, for me, negative boy, is the cliched nature that for moments where the juxtaposition between this fucking absolute epicness of these races and being drawn into the screen, where I felt like I was fucking up against the screen, almost licking the screen, to these moments of there's a better way of saying that.
No, you keep that in.
I'll keep that in. And these other moments where you're teetering on the edge of you're invested enough in the story, but then there's moments where you just you realize you're just watching a movie and you it's just like, oh my God, that's so cliched. And I just can't wait to talk about the fucking bad guy and that kind of stuff. But they are fleeting enough. The last act, unfortunately, there's the cliches ramp up considerably. But that it has to, we've got to finish the movie,
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into spoilers in a bit. So, just before that, what would you give it? Star rating?
I'm going to give this a 4. I think, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. As I said, it's cliched to bits, and you will know from the get go exactly how this movie's turned out. Whether I'd happily stick around for the spoiler section. You might as well, because if you've seen a movie, you know how this is going to play out. And again, I have issues with the score not being more not just because I love Hans Zimmer. Just I think it would have serviced some of these incredible shots and cinematography to have the fucking badass score to go along with it, but yeah, I'm delighted, pleasantly surprised, glad we didn't go and see Megan 2.0. I'll just have to go and see it on my own. But yeah, I'm very, very happy. It was a great cinema experience, and fucking fair play.
Oh yeah, same myself. 4. Even if everything else was rubbish, just the race sequences alone, there's 2 or 3 in particular, they're just riveting cinema, absolutely riveting. And see this on the biggest fucking screen you can. I urge you. This is not one of those where you see it on a fucking plane sometime and go, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, cars look good. Like, no. Lick the screen if you have to.
Well, I wonder how long before this comes out on Apple TV.
Probably quick enough, I'd say. Generally, they have kind of like 4 to 6 week turnaround or something like that.
Okay.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it again. If we didn't have more stuff kind of stacked up in the next couple of weeks, I'd be back to watch this as soon as possible. Can't stress IMAX screen, IMAX sound. Fucking, yeah, fantastic. And Brad Pitt's just a dreamboat. So, what can you say? Let's
look, I'm not even going to disagree with you, man. Proper dreamboat.
Fucking, such a handsome man. It's ridiculous. So, then let's get into spoilers. So, the bad guy, easily the worst part of the movie. Like when he kind of he rears his head initially, and it's just like, oh, I meet this guy. I was just praying, like, oh, don't be in it more, because he's been set up as like, oh, he's the guy on the board, and you're just going, oh, if they bring him more into it, this is the side of it we don't need to see. This doesn't change any stakes, and when it gets to a point where that meeting he has with Brad Pitt parking his fucking van on the top of an empty multi-story car park, and he just jogs up after him, hey, by the way. And they have this, it's a cringe-inducing thing. Like, do the filmmakers think that at any point, like, he's given Brad Pitt this kind of, no, actually, don't mind fucking Javier, like, and his team, whatever, we're going to buy the team, and we'll have you on the, as the, what do they call it, the principal or whatever, the main guy, the head of the team and all this stuff. And do they think for any second that we think he's ever going to choose this? If they had done this after him and Javier had a big row, because they did have a little thing where he said, look, you're off the team or whatever. If they had a proper bust up or something where there was real fucking animosity, and then this sequence happens that, like, you still don't believe it's going to fucking happen because you know what movie you're watching. But there's There's no reason for that scene to be in there. Brad Pitt's never going to take this deal. They're setting it up for a punchline that he's going to actually tell him to go fuck himself, and no one cares. Like,
and not only that, like there's a kind of inverted commas. There's a reveal. When he said, "Oh, you're the one that leaked that document." Oh, yeah. Everybody knows. Everybody in the cinema knew that person document. Like they find out that this thing that was leaked, and so they can't use the new parts on the car. And the minute they say, "Oh, it's someone internal has leaked it," straight away, it's obviously the bad guy. It makes perfect. That's obviously why he's in there, just to do that. You didn't need to have any of that. Stakes are high enough, as you said. The stakes are Javier Bardem is 350 million quid in debt. He's going to lose this team because if you don't win a race in the first 3 seasons, off you go. But these are fucking high stakes for everybody involved.
That's the part I think shaves 10 minutes off this movie, and you still have a riveting 2-hour-20 movie.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, same here. I didn't see the point in that at all. And it's. I don't know what. Again, he's a super cliched bad guy. There's everything about him. It's the guy who, as I said, he wants to do his splinter off team. He's playing Javier Bardem, who thinks that he's a good guy on his side, and really he's not. He spotted him straight away. Is he supposed? Is that why they added him in? That he's going to be this a shock to reveal? Like anybody who's got a brain is going to spot straight away that this.
And he
is
doesn't know what movie. He doesn't know what movies he's in. Like, yeah, it's just kind of a caricature. He just belonged in a different movie entirely. But like the ending, and Brad Pitt, he's just up and leaves because he needs a new challenge and whatever. They just won the fucking race, saved the thing or whatever. They're on the podium. He does this little thing with the champagne on the podium. And like 10 minutes later, he's just dressed and ready to leg it off. And that's where it just becomes kind of a movie. It just becomes a movie. He's going to ride off into the sunset. He's going to drop everything, say goodbye to everyone. Sorry, but I just got to go. Got to get my horse and ride into the sunset. And himself and Kerry have enough kind of chemistry where it's kind of believable, but he's kind of just been this wanderer, fucking bit of a dick. But it's him and Idris when they have their kind of goodbye. He runs after him as Brad Pitt is heading off to his van.
Yeah, well, it's his all of your man Dam's interest is his commentary from when he switches to being like a cocky asshole to pushing for fucking Sonny, Brad Pitt, to win the race. And he's all like, he's shouting from, go get him. And he's shouting him from his car after he crashes out. And it's nowhere near the character he's played throughout it. You can just be, there had to be a more subtle way of him give him some fucking better dialogue, because the character just
show him smirking
flips
or
on his head
or something and kind of going, okay, yeah, fair enough, old man, or something like that, where it's just like, yeah, gung ho, let's go, Sonny.
And then he's the one, he has them all out, that morning running out, doing the run with the whole team. Come on, guys, we're all going for a run, which is something that Sonny has been doing. This guy's never done. He's not really in with the team. He thinks he's
never report
the
with
absolute shit. No, but yet he's trying to do this as if he's completely reformed, changed guy. It's just, it doesn't fit. And again, it's a bit too much. I wasn't a fan of that. But I do like the, as you said, the way they kind of race is, as you said, they have to find something that works for them because they don't have the fastest car. It's almost like the fucking, okay, that's going to be our thing. We're going to slow them down here. The what's called safety car has to come on, and they're going to do all these little tricks to get in that are all very legal. But, it's just essentially what the closest we'd have in football would be, time wasting, falling down, pretending you're injured, like that kind of stuff. It's dickish, but, if you can work it to your advantage, you can.
It's clever that he keeps getting the safety car. He keeps banging into someone and knocking off just enough of his car that doesn't ruin it, but just litters the track with debris, and they have to call out the safety car and does it. And I just love that where you are. It's not just like, oh, the race is just, it's like, Days of Thunder, where he's just going to become brilliant and win the race. This is like, how are they going to do this? Like, they got to get dirty, and that part of it works really well because you don't know what they're going to come up with next, because you don't know the length and breadth of the rules and what you can get away with. And thankfully, Mr. VO guy tells us. Yeah. By the way, the safety car is coming out for the third time.
Well, because I did find, that's just, as I said, his safety. This voiceover guy is a lifesaver, because I thought that he goes into the pits and he's like, okay, because if he gets out at a certain time, if he gets out ahead of the pack as they do their lap, well, then he can purposely slow them down for the other guy to catch up. And then that part being explained to me, I wouldn't have known, who has the thing. So that kind of stuff being explained is great, because I wouldn't have known. But I liked all those kind of fucking, dirty tactics and having to come up with something to kind of to get that edge as the team, you know, grows closer together. But yeah, there's there is the cheesy moments that are a bit too much, like the combat thing when they're all banging on the desk, as you said earlier.
That's the worst.
You know, some of that stuff is it's the cringe goes just a little bit too far.
Yeah. But then there's a race sequence always 2 minutes after that. Like, I can't remember what I was annoyed at.
No, like these are minor gripes. This this is fully expected from this type of movie. I mean, Jesus, Top Gun is just fucking, you know, is so cliched as well, and so almost a copy of the first one as well. You know, they're doing the piano, another version of the piano scene. They do a version of the beach volleyball. Like, it's so much of it is got that 80s, 90s cheese, and you know where the movie's going to go, and you know where this is going to go as well. But still makes for a fantastic movie.
That's you got the
special sauce, you know, you've got that cooked up and ingredients together.
That's my main takeaway from this. Like, there's only a certain amount of movie storylines that you can actually, you can't reinvent the wheel. You can't really, unless you really go up fucking out of left field to like Any Given Sunday or something like that, where they don't win the game at the end. You're like, but it makes sense because of the characters, and that's the kind of story. It's not a fucking we win story. It's about sacrifice and all that. Where this, you know where it's going, but you don't mind because you're kind of like not exactly cheering along, but you're just fucking delighted when they're winning these races and just going, fucking, this is cool, because you're on board with the cheese. And that's when, as you're saying, the secret sauce, when it all works together, like Top Gun Maverick, it's just like, fuck yeah. It turns into just fun. It's like cinema fun where you're going, this is, it's not exactly like switch off your brain kind of and just enjoy. I hate that term anyway, but it is this kind of, it's not even popcorn cinema, because you wouldn't be eating your popcorn. You just be fucking looking at the screen and go, oh my God, it's fucking amazing race cars. Actually,
on that though, I would be interested, if any of our listeners who are F1 fans, I'd be interested to know your take if you'd send us a comment or email, because as a fan of the sport, I wonder, was this as enjoyable? Was it portrayed the way that you would enjoy it, the way you see it, or was it way too trying to make it exciting or dramatic? Like, what is your take? It'd be very interesting to hear what actual F1 fans think of this. Because as a non F1 fan, I fucking loved it.
Yeah, I think it's just brilliant experience at the cinema. One of the best experiences I've had now in terms of pure riveting enjoyment in quite a while.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of good ones on the way. Thanks for taking us through that, Daz. We have a couple of good ones in the next few weeks, I think, with Jurassic World and... Oops. I think there's something on the 11th. Is it? What was the one that's on the 11th, Daz? I can't remember.
I think it's Bambi 2 or something.
Oh, God, oh, wait. So, yeah, look, we will see you all next week. So if you keep on liking, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff, look after each other, and we will see you all the next one. Take it easy.
See you later.